My own mother looked me straight in the eye and said, "We won't be attending your little ceremony. It's trivial for someone at the bottom like you." She said it like I was asking her to attend a garage sale, not my wedding. What they didn't know was that their bottom-feeder daughter had something they'd never expect. Hi everyone, I'm Maya, and I'm 28 years old. What you just heard was the moment my parents destroyed our relationship forever. I've always been the disappointing child in my family. While my brother became this hotshot lawyer with his corner office and six-figure salary, I chose to be a freelance graphic designer. My parents never missed a chance to remind me that I didn't have a real job. They'd introduce my brother as our successful son and me as Maya. She does art things. I wasn't making the big money like my brother. I didn't drive a BMW or live in some fancy high-rise, but I had something they never gave me credit for: real talent and determination that was about to surprise everyone. If you've ever been the family disappointment who proved everyone wrong, drop your location in the comments right now. I read every single one, and your story matters to me. This isn't just about a wedding, it's about the moment I realized I'd been fighting for approval from people who never deserved my love. It started 3 months before my wedding. I was so excited when I walked into my childhood home carrying those cream-colored invitations. The smell of my mother's lasagna filled the kitchen, and for a moment, everything felt normal. I placed the invitation in front of my parents during Sunday dinner. "David and I finally set the date," I said, practically bouncing in my chair. My father picked up the invitation, and I watched his face change. "A community center?" He looked at me like I'd handed him a parking ticket. "Maya, this is embarrassing." My mother didn't even touch the invitation. "We can't be seen at something so modest." The way she said modest made it sound like a disease. I tried to explain, "Dad, David and I saved for 2 years for this wedding. The community center is beautiful. They have this gorgeous garden space, and we're decorating it with fairy lights and—" My parents exchanged one of those looks. You know the kind, the silent conversation that happens over your head while you're talking. My brother Marcus smirked from across the table. Then my mother delivered the blow that would change everything. "We won't be attending your little ceremony. It's trivial for someone at the bottom like you." The fork slipped from my hand and clattered against my plate. "What did you say?" My father jumped in, like he was doing me a favor. "Maybe when you have a real career, you can afford a real wedding." Marcus actually laughed. "I told my colleagues my sister was getting married. Now I have to explain why we're not going." He took a sip of wine like this was all very amusing. I felt my cheeks burn. "The venue is beautiful. The ceremony is meaningful. Isn't that what matters?" "Don't be dramatic," my mother cut me off. "You'll understand when you're more mature." That's when David walked in. He'd come to pick me up like he did every Sunday. My parents barely looked at him. My mother gave him a tight smile and went back to her lasagna. David, sweet David, was trying so hard to bridge the gap. "I'm really excited about our project launching next month," he said to my parents. Silence. Complete silence. They didn't even ask what project. That's when it hit me. They'd never cared enough to know about my life or my relationship. As we gathered our things to leave, I heard my mother on the phone in the next room. "No, we're not going. It's just one of Maya's phases." I stopped in the doorway. Something cold and hard settled in my chest. David took my hand, and we walked to his car in complete silence. But that silence wasn't defeat. It was the sound of me finally seeing my parents clearly. The betrayals kept coming. 2 weeks later, I discovered something that made my stomach drop. My cousin accidentally added me to the family group chat, the one I'd never been included in. The messages were all there, timestamps going back months. "Mom, finally, a celebration worth attending," about Marcus's birthday party. "Dad, at least one of our children knows how to do things properly." They'd been planning family gatherings without me for months. Every holiday, every birthday, every celebration, I'd been deliberately excluded. The worst part, they were all laughing about it. But I wasn't done being humiliated yet. Against my better judgment, I invited my mother to go wedding dress shopping. It was my last attempt to include her in something important. "Of course, sweetheart," she'd said. "Saturday at 2. Saturday at 1:55, my phone buzzed. Something came up with Marcus's case, you understand. I sat in that bridal shop alone, watching other daughters with their mothers. The sales clerk kept glancing at the empty chair beside me. "Is your mother running late?" she asked gently. I found out later that my mother had gone shopping with Marcus's girlfriend that same afternoon. She posted pictures on Facebook, holding dress bags, laughing, having the mother-daughter experience that should have been mine. 2 weeks before my wedding, I tried one last time. I brought photos of our decorated venue to Sunday dinner. The community center looked magical with David's fairy lights and the flowers we'd arranged ourselves. My father glanced at the photos for exactly 2 seconds. Still looks cheap to me. Maya, you're 28, my mother added, cutting into her roast. Stop seeking attention like a child. Marcus leaned back in his chair, grinning. Maybe you should postpone until you can afford something respectable. But here's the thing they didn't know. Each betrayal hurt less and made me angrier. I started documenting their cruel comments in my phone. David encouraged me to set boundaries, and I was finally listening. More importantly, something big was happening in my work life. David and I had been pulling all-nighters, but it wasn't just wedding planning. Those client calls I'd been taking, they were with executives from Fortune 500 companies. My graphic design work had caught the attention of some very important people. While my parents obsessed over Marcus's latest case, I was quietly receiving certified mail from law firms. My business bank account statements were getting thicker every day. David would mention the contract in hushed, excited tones, and my laptop buzzed constantly with professional notifications. I stopped going to Sunday dinners. I can't make it anymore, I told my parents. They assumed I was sulking about the wedding. The truth? I was in high-level business meetings. I upgraded my car, my apartment, my wardrobe, all quietly. When my family made their snide comments, I just smiled. They thought my silence meant defeat. They had no idea what was coming. My secret weapon was Sarah, my college roommate. She was now VP of marketing at a major firm, and she'd been my business mentor and connection for months. When she flew in as my maid of honor, she brought news that made my heart race. Maya, the launch is scheduled for the day after your wedding. Perfect timing. David wasn't just my fiancé, he was my business partner. He'd built an innovative design platform, and together we'd created something revolutionary. We'd quietly signed contracts and built partnerships while my family mocked my pretend career. Your parents are going to eat their words, David said one night as we reviewed contracts, but more importantly, you're going to be free. Meanwhile, my family grew more confident in their cruelty. Marcus made jokes about my pretend wedding to his colleagues. My mother told relatives, we're not attending, it's not worth our time. My father actually bragged about saving money by not buying wedding gifts. Sarah suggested something that felt therapeutic, recording some of their interactions. Document this, she said, you might need evidence of how they've treated you. So I did. I captured their dismissive comments, their cruel jokes, their complete disregard for my feelings. It was painful but empowering. As my wedding approached, something beautiful happened. Without my family's stress and negativity, planning became joyful. David's family embraced me completely. Our friends rallied around us. The wedding was becoming exactly what we wanted. Authentic, loving, real. Everything's falling into place, I told Sarah. My parents think I'm failing, but I'm actually flying. My wedding day dawned perfect. The community center looked magical with morning lights streaming through David's handmade decorations. My dress fit like a dream. Sarah helped me with my makeup while David's mother brought me coffee and told me how proud she was to welcome me to their family. The ceremony was everything I'd dreamed of. David's vows made me cry. My best friend sang. David's grandmother told stories that had everyone laughing. The empty seats where my parents should have been, I barely noticed them in all the love surrounding us. Our photographer captured pure joy, the kind of happiness I'd never felt before. As I danced with David under those fairy lights, I realized I didn't miss my family at all. This was my real family, the people who chose to celebrate love with us. The next day, while David and I were opening wedding gifts and planning our honeymoon, Sarah's marketing campaign launched. My design platform went live with our Fortune 500 partner announcement. The contract was worth $2.8 million over 3 years. Within hours, local news picked up the story. Local designer lands major corporate contract. My wedding photos and business success story started trending on social media. Industry publications wrote features about my innovative design approach. That's when my phone rang. My father's voice sounded completely different. We saw the news about your business. You mean my not real job that you've mocked for years? I asked. My mother got on the phone. We didn't realize how serious this was. You didn't realize because you never cared to ask. That's when I played back their recorded comments. We won't be attending your little ceremony. It's trivial for someone at the bottom like you. My mother's voice echoed through the phone and I heard her sharp intake of breath. You recorded us? I documented how you treated me, just like I document all my business meetings now. Marcus called separately, suddenly very interested in my connections. My parents' friends started asking why they'd missed the wedding of the year. Social media showed my beautiful ceremony while they were notably absent. Their reputation in their social circle took a serious hit. A week later, They showed up at my new office unannounced. They walked into my professional space, saw the team I now managed, the awards on my walls, the success they'd refused to see coming. "We made a mistake," my mother said, her voice small. "We want to make things right." I looked at these people who'd spent years tearing me down. The mistake wasn't missing my wedding. The mistake was never believing in me. "We can be a family again," my father pleaded. We were never a family. A family supports each other. I set clear boundaries after that. "I'm not cutting you off, but I'm not chasing your approval anymore." Their attempts to repair things felt hollow, offering to throw me a proper reception, trying to connect Marcus with my business contacts. It was too little, too late. The strangest thing, my success felt so much better without their validation. Looking at my wedding photos now, they look perfect. No fake smiles, no tension, just pure joy from people who truly loved us. David and I built something incredible together. We work with people who respect us, socialize with friends who celebrate our wins, and live authentically every single day. My confidence grows constantly, fueled by real achievement, not borrowed approval. For the first time in my life, I wasn't waiting for their approval. I was living my own life. They lost me the day they called my wedding trivial, but I didn't lose anything. I gained everything. If your family has ever made you feel small for following your dreams, I want you to know something. Your dreams are valid, and your success doesn't need their approval. Drop your location in the comments and tell me, have you ever had to prove your worth to people who should have believed in you from the start? Hit subscribe if you believe that family should lift you up, not tear you down. Your story matters, and this community is here for you. Sometimes the best revenge is simply living well, and trust me, it feels amazing.